is up, guys? How's it going? Welcome to another episode. Last episode we finished up this bash bar. Car's looking hella sweet. Love all these little dimple dies. I think it looks super cool. So I went and picked up some more tube this morning. Just where the car sits now, we're at about 72 feet of tube. That's not even including the tube front. So that would just be the roll cage and this little bit of tube here. So 72 feet. So I went and picked up another 24 feet this morning. So we're going to be, damn near 100 feet to do a full chassis like this. So kind of hard to believe that you can use up 100 feet of tube like that, but yeah. Once you start running through it, it does add up. So like I was saying, just give you guys a little peek here. Looks super sweet. Got all the flares going on here. Then even inside the car with the doors. Flares there, flares there. So anyway, carrying on. Rear bash bar. So way back in episode 1, I was talking about how I've already done the back of the car and I made these slip fits here. So this is 1 3/4 DLM 120 wall, and it actually goes inside the frame rail. So this tube is actually about, I don't know, maybe 14 inches, 15 inches long. So I need some 1.5" tube to slide right in there and make it like a slip fit type bash bar. Just have some quick release pins either in here or inside the car in the back there. So I'm pretty much flat out of 1.5". I don't usually use it. Just haven't had many clients go after 1.5" stuff. It's all usually 1 3/4. But my first competition car back in the days, this is actually 1.5". And oh my god, is this cage ugly. But doesn't matter, because that's 1.5", and that's about all I need. So I'm just going to zip cut that out of my old car and utilize some old material. So I'm going to zip cut that out, and then we're going to go over the design of the back. Oh man, it is freaking cold out, not gonna lie. So you can see my little chunk that I cut out is gonna be more than enough. So yeah, 1.5" DLM 120 wall, perfect fit. So I'm gonna cut this in half, clean her up, make sure the ends are nice and square, and then we'll start going over the design of the back. Alright, turned our yellow yucky looking tube into some nice clean prepped tube. I already coped the ends. Being that it's 1.5", it's a little easier to cope. You don't have to go so far in with it. So do a little test fit. Good enough. So you can see, slide in there nice and easy. So I got to build it to fit the factory bumper. So I'm going to grab the factory bumper and come up with some sort of design here. So I got my uprights done. Just going to be little shorties. So I'm wanting these to kind of sit somewhere in this area like that. And we'll have a tube that rests right under the lip of the bumper, going right to the quarter here. And that'll be the upper tube. I'm hoping that that's just going to hold the bumper, you know, so it won't take much to keep it on. Maybe a couple bolts, and the weight of the bumper will be sitting right on the bash bar. And then a bottom tube running in the same kind of origin, but I'm going to put a little V on it, and then have a jack point, and then I'll probably just trim the bumper kind of the whole way along one of these body lines, so that you can see the tube from the back, and then maybe do like a dimple die section where the license plate is, and then I'm hoping to run my exhaust kind of out the top. So that's my game plan. So if we pull this off, I got my height marked on there already, so I know roughly how high those are going. My smaller tube is slid inside. That's the old yellow stuff. So I got my height marked there. So basically I'm going to tack these so that we can grab the pipe, or the upper tube I should say. Something like that. So I'm just going to set up my welding machine and then tack them guys up. Alrighty, so got my height set, got my uprights tacked in, and then I cut my upper tube, the top tube. So I'm just figuring out where I'm going to put my bends, but the height is perfect. So next thing I want to do is we're going to bend these guys in, and then I'm thinking maybe a bend in the center, or maybe 2 bends. So maybe 4 bends total, I don't know. You can see the back of the 240's got quite a curvature to it. So you can't really go straight across, otherwise it's going to look funky. So maybe just a little something in the middle, just to kind of keep the curvature of the car. But yeah, we got a good reference going here. So I don't really got any specific degree that I want to go on the back corners, but I did push my car forward, and I'm just going to play around and see what I think looks good. But yeah, trusty old JD squared bender. We're going to bend ourselves some tube here. Alright, so there's my pieces. Got my top bar bent here. You can see how I put just a little kink in the middle. I'll kind of show you guys how it fits here in a minute. That's a lower bar, so it's a little bit more narrow, with no bend in the middle. And like I said, I'll run through the fitment here in a minute, but I just polished it all up. That way we'll have nice welds. I'm just going to blast these out right now, seeing that I have them free on the table. So I'm going to weld these guys out, and then we're going to fit up the rear bash bar. So that's why I can't stress enough about keeping the steel clean, because even with just a little stepping motion, you can get pretty nice looking MIG welds. I prefer to MIG weld just because it's faster. TIG is obviously a lot nicer. Generally speaking, you know, you can dab it, but I mean, that looks not bad. And I did that in, I don't know, maybe 60 seconds, so good enough for me. So I'm gonna slide these in, and we're gonna fit up the bash bar. Fits frickin' mint. The whole bumper actually wraps around the bash bar. I don't know if you guys can see in there or not, but like you can see prop the camera. The bash bar is inside the bumper. See, it just kind of slides on and off. I mean, that's freaking awesome. Literally just wraps around. It's that tight of a fit. But it's not too bad. So we know it fits. Slides in nice. I had to just kind of bang out the car a little bit there. But I mean, you can see my hand when it goes along. It's like pretty much perfect on both the top and the bottom. So if we are getting impacted on the side, I hope most of that impact is just going to get transferred into these bars. Same thing here, you can see. Just clears. So I might just knock these corners back just a little bit so that it's not such a sharp edge. But other than that, that's pretty much a bash bar. As far as the jack point goes, I mean, you could pretty much jack up the car anywhere you want it off of this. But I might just put, I don't know, maybe a stiffener here. I want to trim the bumper to fit too, and then maybe add some more tubes to fill it in, make it look rad. But yeah, all in all, that went pretty smooth. So I'm gonna throw a couple more tacks on here so that when I'm welding it doesn't pull too much. So try to do at least 3 or 4 tacks on all the joints and weld this puppy out. So I ended up trimming this white one a little bit too much, farther than I'd like. So it's a good thing I had this red one. I just trimmed a little bit out where the license plate would have gone. So I think it looks a little bit more race car. But yeah, it's like pretty much wrapped right in the bash bar. So I mean that's on there without even any hardware. It's a tight fit. It's kind of nice that it fits that good though. Won't have a lot of droop going on. So if we take our bumper off, there you got it. Rear bash bar. So yeah, I might get a little fancy with it and add some plates or something. Some fancy holes, but I mean it gets covered up anyway, so not too concerned about it. Yeah, that's pretty much a rear bash bar. So I'm probably going to end it there. There's not really much else I can do on this car. I'm pretty much going to be looking for paint. I might do little odds and ends, but I don't think it's worth filming, so we will pick up, I don't know, a couple days from now. See you then. What's up? It's a new day. We've had a really nasty cold snap going around Calgary right now, so I took the last couple days off, Saturday, Sunday. Hung out with the family. It's like ridiculously cold. There's frost on all my windows, and my old barn doesn't really hold a lot of heat. We're still below 0. That's with a fire cooking, a Tiger torch, an electric heater over there. But anyway, back on topic. Just continuing off from the rear bash bar. We're prepping for chassis paint, and I want to make sure all the odds and ends are all taken care of. So made little fender mounts for the top of the fenders. Little fender mounts down there on the bottom, tying to the frame rail. the stock 240s had a similar thing, so I just made up my own. And then I got some tow hooks here. I put a little tape on them so that when I paint, you can still have a bit of a copper look. So they're gonna go something like that. So we got the tow hooks, we got fender mounts, and then my little jack point here. Just a tiny little piece of tube. That way we're not gonna damage our chin spoiler. And I'm just gonna weld that in underneath there. And it's just level with the spoiler, so good spot for your jack. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Just getting everything ready for paint. The back looks pretty good. Pretty happy with that. I got to do the same back here, tow hook and jack point. So I'm going to just buzz these little couple more pieces on the front, and then the front is done, and I can strip the body back down to just a chassis, take the fenders off, take the bumper off, take the doors and the hatch off, so we can paint everything at the same time. So yeah, fender mounts going in here, got the ones down below, we got tow hooks and a jack point. So that's what we're going to be doing right now. It's even cold enough that the dogs want to come in the shop, which is not very often. Anyway, I'm gonna get welding here. Got all that stuff welded out. Little fender mounts, tow hooks, and then a little jack point under there. So subtle little add-ons, but I'd say that's pretty much the front end. I do need lights, but I haven't decided what I'm going to do yet as far as lights go. So if I have to buff a little area, or I might just make clips that go on top, so kind of like saddles for the lights. So yeah, I guess we're gonna move to the back of the car. So just thinking, push this thing forward on my wooden car dolly. But yeah, so far so good. I'm gonna push the car forward, and we're gonna work on the back of it now. So after a bit more trimming and some welding, I ended up getting her licked off. You can kind of see the idea here with those uprights, kind of in the license plate area. The bash bar is going to be the same color as like the tube front and the roll cage, so I'm hoping that you'll be able to see those from behind as well as this tube. And then yeah, I trimmed down these, I don't know, what looked to be engine hooks. And they look pretty good, pretty subtle, almost like little factory tow hooks. So those should be sufficient enough. And then I was thinking of actually just using like an old license plate right in this area instead of doing a weld-in plate, and then I'll cut holes for my exhaust in the license plate and run it in there, so it'll look like I still have a plate, but there'll be like pipes coming out of it. Obviously this car is not going to be driven on the street, but I think it'll be a cool look. And then I just put a little, I don't know if you can see that, a little jack point on the, well here, I'll take this bumper off. I'll take the bumper off and then I'll show you guys what it looks like. Yeah, so I took the bumper off. You can kind of see what's going on. See that little chunk of tube right there. So yeah, I mean, I think it's a good spot to have our dedicated jack point in the back. If you ever take the bash bar off, at least there's still a spot on the car where you can lift it up from. So yeah, we got our jack point, we got our tow hooks, we just need some pins. Other than that, the back is done. I think it looks pretty good. So I think that's pretty much it for the fab work. At least I hope. I know I do have to do the trans tunnel and some seat rails, but I'm going to be painting the floor pans a different color and everything else, probably just black. So I can do all the welding in here and paint this after, but all the tubes and like the doors and all back there, the whole chassis is going to be the exact same color, like tubs, the shock towers, the front bash bar, the tube front, all the roll cage, that little part on the door that we did, the rear bash bar as well, underneath the tail lights here. That'll all be the same color. That little bit of tube. So try to keep it looking sleek. So I mean, the last thing I want to do today is just strip everything off the car. The doors, the hatch has to come off. Probably pull the tail lights. Got to do bulkhead there in the back. Has to come out. So probably just going to strip this car down before I leave for the day. It's pretty freaking cold in here, but so far so good. So we'll do a little time lapse of me stripping down the car and end with that. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the welding. So let's strip this car down and get the hell out of here.